When Planet Computers revealed the Gemini PDA at CES, the Engadget team was split about 30-70. Some of us thought it was an exciting revival of a long-forgotten form factor, but most of the team thought it was another anachronistic nostalgia gadget. Those people were wrong, or so I thought. First of all, exactly what is the Gemini? Basically, it's a clamshell Android phone with a full QWERTY keyboard, reminiscent of the old Cyan PDAs of yore. The idea, I presume, is that as modern phones have leaned hard into the touchscreen world, some people still prefer a good old-fashioned keyboard to play with. Or perhaps there's an underserved market of people that want the productivity of a laptop, but with the portability of the phone. Me, I'm in the latter camp. As someone that works with words every day, I'm excited about something I can slip into my pocket, maybe go to a coffee shop, and in my version of this scenario at least, lets me get some work done. In theory, this should be no problem. The Gemini is slightly longer than my Pixel 2 XL and about twice as thick. It's chunky for sure, but still easy to carry around. The Gemini also comes preloaded with various productivity apps in the menu, Microsoft Word, Excel, and a few other tools that the modern-day digital nomad might need. Combine that with the keyboard and the work pretty much does itself, right? Sadly, no. Within about 15 seconds of trying the Gemini's keyboard, I knew there was going to be more than a temporary learning curve. The action on the keys is pretty good, but they're crammed in so tight that touch typing is a challenge. If you persevere, you can get a rhythm going, but the digital gymnastics for basic things, like typing a capital A, soon start to feel like a game of Twister for your fingers. For me, the real nemesis was the spacebar, which regularly missed my strokes. Given that you need the spacebar for every word you type, those misses soon add up. But maybe I'm asking too much to expect to be able to switch from a desktop keyboard to something this small and still be able to keep the same pace. You can hunt and peck without much issue, but then I can do that on a virtual keyboard just as well. You can also go for the two thumbs method, but that still feels less productive. Maybe you don't have delusions about writing a novel outside a Parisian cafe with this thing though. Maybe you just like the practicality of setting something down like a mini laptop and using regular apps with the keyboard as a way to navigate and pick out the odd tweet or Instagram comment. There are problems there too. Apps like Microsoft Word feel relatively natural on the Gemini, but beyond that it's hit and miss. Gmail, for example, lets you navigate with the arrow keys and open messages with the enter key and use other shortcuts. But you can't pause YouTube videos with the spacebar like on desktop. And as many Android apps don't have the same menus as their full-fat versions, often there just isn't the same keyboard shortcut available. What about some positives? The battery life is pretty stellar. With a solid 4220 mAh cell, the Gemini easily lasts a couple of days per charge. And there's a good old-fashioned microSD card slot so you can add to the existing 64GB of internal storage. As much as this is a PDA, let's not forget that it's also a phone. But if you're used to a modern Android, expect some issues here too. The lack of external screen means you have to open the Gemini to see your notifications, or reply to any messages, an email. In fact, you pretty much have to open the device to do anything beyond answering a call. You can call up Google Assistant without opening it, but it's no substitute for quick access to your home screen. So, it's fair to say that the Gemini is really only for the dedicated keyboard enthusiast. I can see this appealing to people that work on the command line, who want access to company servers while on the go, etc. Planet Computers included an SSH client by default, or maybe those who have the time and patience to get comfortable with the keyboard. Either way, you'll still find yourself using the touchscreen for many tasks, at which point you have to wonder how much of a benefit those keys really are. The Gemini is a fascinating device, and I'm glad that it exists. It just isn't as practical in the modern world as I had first hoped. At least not for me. I hope that Planet Computers does find an audience though, as I'd love to see a refined version of this in the future. For more details, head to Engadget.com for the full review.